on the white lights now. Dusk lighting test with my aim cam. One of the concerns I have about this setup currently is the small battery on the FJ09. If you have a larger battery, I don't think that's really gonna matter. Like I said, if you're going to leave your accessory on, if you leave the bike on at all with these lights on, it will run your battery down very quickly. I'm gonna show you the switch here. It's blinking blue and it's working. The other issue I ran into when I was wiring this with the accessory wiring provided is that the only accessory that I could use, I found out, is connected to the fan relay. So if the fan relay comes on, these lights go off. I'm going to turn them on now so that you can see those. There's our yellow. And I haven't aimed these completely yet. However, this is what they look like in dusk conditions on your yellow fog lights. Point it down nice and low. And let's go to the white. Nice 5K daylight white there. You can see it's lighting both sides of the road. It is spilling quite a bit of light into the cars, which I'm going to try to adjust when I move those down. And since I have these tucked under the headlight cowl, they are limited on the sides. If you put these on crash bars or your engine guards mounted on the outboard of your motorcycle, my guess is they would spill a lot wider. So I got these to augment the stock headlights, which are very weak on this motorcycle. And even with my brights on, you can see there's not much difference on the LED headlights offered by Yamaha. So these are fill lights, and I think they could serve as headlights themselves, even if my complete headlight were to go out. Just do a little weave here so you guys can see that. And I haven't had anyone flash me yet about the brightness of these. This will be the second nighttime ride I'm taking with them. And I'm going to be audio free here in a second when we pick up speed. We'll bring the visor down to try to lower some of that wind noise. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this brief country ride with me, and then I'll take you to my light proving grounds against the building. I'll show you how bright these are. Deeper dusk here, sun is almost completely gone. Kelvin yellow setting. As I said, I haven't had these on the flashing mode yet. You're supposed to be able to double tap the switch on the bottom, get it to go to that. I haven't been able to get it to do it yet. Okay, I've been running with the shield down over the camera here so you can see the true level of light through the polycarbonate lens here. I got somebody that's just kind of lurking around here, and I'm waiting for them to leave so that I can show you. But that car is probably 150 feet away. So I wanted to show you what these lights look like on the open parking lot. Massive old mall we have here. And these extend to the brush line there. I do think there's sufficient enough side spill to be able to see animals at the side of the road. It's going to be kind of last second, but then you've got your yellow fog light there, which is very low in front. I tried not to turn these up in elevation too much so that it wouldn't blind drivers from the rear or from the front. Does create a nice warm center. I have not dialed these in yet to focus them all the way and make that light even more concentrated. It does create sort of a short throw and then a longer throw.
Hey, welcome back to the studio. I want to talk about some of the techs, specs, and my general impression of the Tackform LED001 auxiliary motorcycle lights. That is a pair of lights. It includes a wiring harness, thread locker, an Allen wrench, also your cable ties, and all of the things you'll need to install these incredibly valuable lights from Tackform. Why would you buy these lights? Well, first of all, they're about a third of the price of some of the other options such as Denali, Puig, and Givi. Cost-wise, I find that to be an incredible value. They are IP68 rated. I would recommend them for both sport touring bikes and adventure bikes as an alternative to some of the more expensive options. If you're mounting these on crash bars or engine guards, you're going to get the most amount of light out of them. They are 6,000 lumens. They are 60 watts. I will caution you though that if you leave your key on an accessory, these lights will drain your battery exceptionally quickly. I don't have a very large battery on my 2017 Yamaha FJ09, the Tracer, and it drained my battery in about 3 minutes just taking some photographs of them. So, word to the wise. However, it does include about 7 feet of wiring, adequate for just about any motorcycle on the market that I could think of. You will need to make account for about this much of a space for a box that is also part of that wiring. I just set mine inside of my battery compartment. However, your motorcycle may or may not have that amount of space, and you may need to locate it somewhere else. I was able to run the wiring alongside of the small fairings that I have on the FJ09, and that kept it nice and clean looking, as well as hiding those electrical leads from view. Secondly, the wiring lead for the accessory is fairly short on this set of lights. You will need to run that inside your battery compartment to an accessory location. I found out by mistake that the accessory location I used worked. However, when my fans came on, it would kill the lights. So I do need to find another accessory location for that wire. I guess you could extend that wire if you wanted to solder something together and add an extra length, and you could do it that way. However, I prefer having everything nice and tidy inside the battery compartment. How are these lights made? They're made out of billet aluminum. It's about 3 pounds total for the set. I would go ahead and add another ½ pound for the wiring and also the wiring connector piece that is in there. I'm not sure what that electrical component is called. However, it is in between your battery and the front of the motorcycle where your lights are. So that said, if you're trying to run these on a sport bike, I don't think you're going to have a location for them unless you had some kind of engine guards with tubular steel on them, or you were going to try to run them under the tiny bit of real estate underneath your headlight. That being said, I think they're a great alternative for sport touring bikes as well as adventure bikes. Either underneath your headlight, if you can find the real estate for it as I did, or if you can run those on your engine guards or your crash bars. I think they're excellent for bikes like the V-Strom, the BMW adventure bikes, the Versus, and others like that. It's going to give you an exceptional amount of night light, as well as those fog lights and the alternating light option if you want that. Increase your daytime visibility, increase your lines of sight if you're out in the country or riding twisties and you want to be able to see wildlife, dogs heading for you, those kinds of things. Very important to have those wider angles when we are riding. So I think they're a great value for that. Once again, these are available through Amazon. I've left the link in my description down below, as well as my contact information. If you'd like to see something reviewed on this channel, you think there's something specific I should review, please like, comment, and subscribe. And also this month, I am doing a giveaway. It is the Coast G60 light. It's waterproof. And I have given this light to my family as probably the best all-around household light out there. It has 3 light settings. I'm giving that away this month. All I need you to do is subscribe and go to my contact information. Send me your contact information. That way I can get in touch with you should you win that giveaway. Check out my other videos on Coast lights, lanterns. I will have upcoming videos on the Ford Escape Titanium all-wheel drive 2-liter turbo. Is it still a good value in 2025? Also, I'll be reviewing motorcycle foot pegs, other outdoor gear, and more. Stay tuned to Practically Reviewed, and I thank you so much for watching. See you again next time.